Israel and Palestine, a history of conflict. Israel, the world's only Jewish state, is located east of the Mediterranean Sea. Palestine, the land inhabited by Arab populations from areas controlled by Israel, has long been known for its conflict with Israel, particularly in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. The tension between Israel and Palestine has worsened in recent years, with numerous violent clashes. To understand the roots of this conflict, we must go back thousands of years. Early history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Around the 17th century BC, the patriarchs of the Jewish people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, settled in Canaan, a region that includes modern-day Israel, the West Bank, parts of Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. This land later became known as the Land of Israel, or the Promised Land. In 1000 BC, King Saul established the Israelite monarchy, followed by King David, who made Jerusalem his capital, and his son, King Solomon, who built the first temple in Jerusalem. After Solomon's death, the monarchy split into the Kingdom of Israel in the north, with Samaria as its capital, and the Kingdom of Judah in the south, with Jerusalem as its capital. The land was home to a majority of Jews, but over time, it faced numerous conquests by various empires, which reduced the Jewish population. The Roman Empire renamed Judah as Palestine to sever the Jewish connection to the land. During this period, Christianity, which began as a Jewish sect, eventually became the dominant religion. In the 7th century, the Arab conquest introduced Islam, and the Dome of the Rock was built on the ruins of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, making the city holy to all three monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Following persecution by the Seljuk Turks, European Christians launched the Crusades to reclaim Jerusalem. Many Jews were killed, while others fled, primarily to Western Europe. From the 16th century until World War I, the Holy Land was part of the Ottoman Empire. During this time, the land was unofficially called Palestine. In Europe, a movement called Zionism emerged, with Jews aiming to create a Jewish state in their ancestral homeland. By the early 20th century, tens of thousands of Jews returned to the region, Israel and Palestine under British rule. World War I led to the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, and Britain took control of much of the Middle East, including Palestine, under the British Mandate. In 1923, Britain promised to establish a Jewish national homeland in Palestine through the Balfour Declaration. Tensions grew between Jews and Arabs, both claiming the land. In the 1930s, due to fears of Nazi persecution, Jewish immigration to Palestine increased, causing further conflict. To control this, the British imposed limits on Jewish immigration, leading to the formation of Jewish militias that fought both Arabs and the British. The birth of Israel and the 1948 War. After World War II, the United Nations proposed dividing Palestine into two states, one for Jews and one for Arabs, with Jerusalem as an international city. This plan was rejected by the Arabs, who formed volunteer armies. In 1948, Israel declared its independence, leading to the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. 5 Arab countries, Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, invaded to create a unified Arab Palestine. However, by the end of the war, Israel controlled more than 2/3 of historic Palestine, including West Jerusalem, while Jordan controlled East Jerusalem and the West Bank, and Egypt occupied the Gaza Strip. As a result, over 750,000 Palestinians were displaced, marking the event as Al-Nakba, or the catastrophe. The 1967 Six-Day War and aftermath. In 1967, tensions led to the Six-Day War, in which Israel fought against Jordan, Syria, and Egypt. Israel emerged victorious, gaining control of the Golan Heights from Syria, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Gaza Strip and Sinai Peninsula from Egypt. After the war, many Palestinian refugees were not allowed to return home and lived in neighboring countries like Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. The First and Second Intifadas and peace efforts. The increasing presence of Israeli settlers in the West Bank and Gaza led to the formation of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, in 1964, which sought to establish a free Palestine. After years of violence, The First Intifada, or uprising, began in 1987 in response to Israeli actions, and a peace process was initiated with the Oslo Accords, aiming to divide the West Bank into areas controlled by both Israel and the Palestinians. The Second Intifada broke out in 2000 after disagreements over Jerusalem refugees and Israeli settlements. The violence ended with Israel's withdrawal from Gaza, but conflicts continued in the West Bank. Hamas and the Gaza conflict. Hamas, an Islamist militant group, split from the Palestinian Authority and took control of Gaza. This led to a series of wars between Hamas and Israel, including major conflicts in 2008, 2012, and 2014. In 2018, the relocation of the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem sparked further tensions. By 2021, violence erupted once again in East Jerusalem, leading to another ceasefire agreement, ongoing conflict, and hope for peace. Although peace efforts have been made, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains unresolved. The territorial dispute, historical grievances, and differing views on Jerusalem and refugees make a lasting peace challenging. The situation remains tense, with the potential for violence still present.